Welcome everyone. Thank you for being here. This is the divine feminine and why he's pulling away the unavailable masculine. So right before I was about to do this video, my baby fell and had this like big gash on her knee, and I was so grateful because my divine masculine, my husband, swooped in and gave her everything she needed and clean her cut. So if you are someone like myself who is either desiring a powerful divine feminine, divine masculine union and has struggled for a long time, either you have it or you want to have it, you're in the right place, because I have so been there. I was ghosted horrendously. I was literally stood up from California to Italy. I flew out to be with this man and he ghosted me, and I found out from his friend that he had a girlfriend and had been lying to me. So if you're somebody that's been manifesting unavailable masculine energy from a guy or a gal, your divine masculine's been pulling away, oh my gosh, let's break this down on how to get out of it. I'm Dr. Amanda Noel. Some people call me the Twin Flame Alchemist or the Twin Flame Matchmaker. I am the founder of Aphrodite University, the premier divine feminine university anniversary to yourself, self-love mystery school. And I come from the planet Venus. All right, let's dive into your body of self-love here. So ladies and gentlemen and divas and devos, the number one reason, or one of the top reasons anyways, is she's too in her masculine. When the feminine, whether you're in a male or female body, when the feminine is pushing in her masculine, she's trying to be all things to all people. And she puts up this powerful armor. The amour, the love cannot get in. And so I see so many women, and the women that I work with, gorgeous, high-achieving, beautiful, powerful women, oftentimes struggle horrendously with love, like I once did. And it's like, what is wrong with me? You know, is it my bad breath, my body? Like, I'm taking really good care of all areas of my life, trying to check off all the boxes, live up. Well, a lot of the time, she's too in her masculine. So the masculine energy, what am I talking about? You might have heard about polarity theory, the divine feminine, divine masculine. Everybody's talking about it. My parents, actually, I match made my parents 44 years ago around this time in a polarity class in Asilomar retreat in California. So that's where actually, no, I think it was about 46 years ago, because it's before my brother was born. Anyways, this whole buzzword, divine feminine, divine masculine, polarity, it's been around, but what the heck is masculine energy? Masculine, we all know, we have both. You've heard that already. The masculine energy is penetrative, it's piercing, it's I want that, I'm going for it. It doesn't necessarily tune into, is this the best thing for me? Does it feel really good? Is it checking in with present time? It might be 1,000 lifetimes ago, I want this now. And we're actually coming from a wound from when we were a child, or a past life, or a program that we were mind controlled with on some level to make us believe we need this thing. So it's piercing, it's fast, it wants to go in. And a lot of times, beautiful, stunning, feminine looking women are actually running more masculine energy than most of the men out there, some together. No. But then I've seen this trend where a lot of the women that they look very feminine, you know, maybe they've got like the model look, maybe they've even got a little work done, they're tucking or Botoxing and doing their hair and doing their nails, and they're just like beautiful flowers, and they've coiffed and pampered themselves. A lot of the times, those women, what is it that Ricky Martin says? She looks like a flower, but she stings like a bee. Like, deep down underneath that, a lot of that beauty is actually armor. Her Aphrodite murderess archetype, Aphrodite Androphanos, as I work within my system, she might look like the virgin, the divine daughter, but then underneath it, she is a badass warrior, murderess energy, or that's the energy that she's running. So we have all of the archetypes inside of us. We are the universe. We are our own running, moving universe. We start out as a little tiny atom or grain of sand, as they said in the ancient times, and then we evolve up into plants, animals, the human world eventually we hit, and then we move into becoming a solar, a planet, a solar being, a galaxy, and then eventually we become a universe, and then we are morphing with our multiverse and the oneness. So we're moving into an evolution, ascension of becoming one with the one. At the same time, through polarity, we're separate and we are unique beings. The Amanda that I am, or the you that you are, and we're doing our job at keeping our uniqueness while the universe expands. So I just went on this whole tangent, but the feminine is piercing and pushing, oftentimes pushing away love, because she's trying to achieve, do, and show off and be seen. And we're going to talk a little bit more about why she's doing that. But if you want him to come to you, if he's been pulling away, pull him back in by becoming more feminine. Instead of piercing and pushing and trying and doing your hair and makeup, trying to get him, trying to strategize and be in your logical mind, surrender, baby. Let go. Use the FUKKIT tool, the fuck it tool. Just don't care anymore. Let go. Who cares if he shows up for you? Show up for yourself. Do you first. Be in your flow. Go within yourself. Be in your heaven, in your mess, in your pleasure. Get yourself off. Get yourself going in life. Stop depending on your person, your man, your divine masculine outside of you. And claim it within and nourish your feminine energy. Build the water. Do the divine feminine healing practices. And let go. Let love of attachment of some person trying to save you. Because you are amazing. Also, it's important to release the anger that we have towards the masculine, towards the men on the planet, to what's been done with the patriarchy. Let it go. Let's all do a release, because this is a mirror of us. We have created the destruction. We have created the control systems. It's all just a pattern, a program in our mind, and we can let it go down the drain. Okay. I love being silly with y'all. So 2, she's afraid to receive from a powerful masculine. So if we have a messed up relationship with the masculine, if we've not forgiven, not necessarily that we want to forgive the actions, what's been done in the past, if bad stuff has happened, you don't say, that's fine, you can do it again. But what I'm saying is, if we are not letting it go, forgiving it, being like, all right, there was a reason that you did that. There was a reason, and there must have been a mirror. I take responsibility for my own triggers. If we don't do that, then whatever we resist, and we're like mad at it and pushing it away, or I don't want that. Whatever we resist persists. So if we're pushing that masculine energy away, and we build more and more stories about the divine masculine is dark, it's bad, or I can't have it, or it should look like this, and we build fantasy worlds, we're pushing it away, then it's hard to receive it. Why are we not receiving it? Because most feminines are afraid to receive from a powerful masculine. So let's talk about this. Why are most women afraid to receive from a powerful masculine? Well, we are often afraid to receive from a powerful masculine because something bad happened in the past. We are afraid to receive from a powerful masculine because we come from a culture where the masculine was very toxic. Men were told, as little boys, they were told, are you a man or a mouse? Big boys don't cry. And so they shut off their vulnerable feminine energy. And instead of having that healthy balance of sacred feminine, sacred masculine in themselves, they have this shadow masculine that's trying to overcome the pain of being told not to cry, the pain of being told it's okay to circumcise you and take off all those pleasure cells, or it's, if you fall down and scratch your knee, little boy, you can't cry. My daughter just cut her knee open, and we're like, baby, it's okay, cry, let that inner child cry. But because we haven't done that for thousands of years, men have been hurting more and more and more. And it got to the point where we had all these wars, and that's what's happening still today in parts of the world, where there's this wounded, toxic masculine that needs to be scooped up and held by the feminine. So if we're afraid to receive a masculine energy, it's because we haven't healed it within ourselves. So ladies, it's our destiny, job, victory to be able to hold the masculine for ourselves and to go, wow, you've been hurting, holding our own pain, holding the pain where we haven't gotten things right out in the world, holding the pain for where we've been trying to set up our love lives for success and we've gotten heartbroken, holding the pain for maybe you've pushed really hard in your business, your career, your corporate job, and you've climbed up the ladder and gotten the success, but you still feel empty. Hold the pain for that part of you that says, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm confused. I'm scared. The wounded, vulnerable child inside is hurting, and we need to hold that part, him and her. We're not all 100% warriors. Nobody needs to climb to that level. It's not realistic. We have these other archetypes in us. We need to hold space for these aspects, the divine child, the vulnerable feminine and masculine. Everybody has vulnerability in us. I'm going to talk more about vulnerability, but receiving. If we can't receive, it means we are afraid. And it also means maybe our wombs are blocked with energy. Most women at some point in their lives have blocked womb energy because we don't have practices to clear out the womb. We don't have practices to reset and detoxify the womb. I'm using these practices now diligently, like castor oil packing, yoni steams, prayer meditation, going to cleansing rituals, spring water, full and new moon rituals. I have to do this because I'm on an awakening path, and when I don't, I start to go so out of balance. And 99.9% of the world, I would say, is living pretty out of balance at many chapters in their lives because we don't have these healing practices. Luckily, I live in a country, well, actually not a country, but on an island, Bali, where there are healing practices, where every day there are offerings made to honor the feminine using flowers and holy water, and where people go to the springs monthly for cleansing, and they honor the full and new moon and the astrology. It's like an ancient Lemurian tradition that's continued on through the ages, whereas in most parts of the world, especially in the West, these traditions were taken away and limited to the elites. So it's important to have practices that honor our feminine energy and to acknowledge that we have been lied to, we've been abused, we have been tortured, we have been persecuted by the patriarchy, and let's deal with this and start letting in a healthy divine masculine. So there's my point, is the last slide. She's afraid to receive from a powerful masculine. I'm talking about a divine masculine. A lot of ladies are letting in the satanic masculine, going, oh, he's so hot and sexy, boom, she lets him in. He wham bam, thanks you ma'am, or he comes hot and cold. He's pulling her energy. He's hooking into her darkness, her pain, her early childhood trauma, her abandonment fears, her daddy issues. And all of a sudden, she's totally in love, giving everything to him. She's hoping that he'll stay with her, hoping something magical will suddenly change. And then he runs, and she's left, sometimes literally with her pants down, like he just leaves her. She's like ready for him. And her heart is open, and he's hooked her vampirically. And then that satanic energy stays in her, and she's going, I don't need a man anymore. Or maybe I should just stay single. Maybe I should just give up because I'm attracted to the powerful masculine energy, but he just wounds me. Well, she was in bed with the devil. The light masculine shows up. He heals. He shows up and says, I'm not going to abandon you. However, this isn't working out. So let's have a discussion. Let's close this up. Let's get to the holy love and truth. I never would lie to you. Or if I did, I atone for my sins. Let's see God in each other before we close up. Or maybe there's a next chapter. So the holy light, the divine masculine, is going to show up, does not abandon. He's not afraid. And that is the light that is in you that can be reflected in a human. But if you're not beaming that light through, you will have very disappointment rendezvous with dark, disappointing, maybe even satanic energies. I have been there. I had a 5-year relationship with Satan in my pants. I had a horrible infection and no doctor can cure it. And I finally exorcised it in my dreams before I was fully, that was my initiation as a shaman. And I was like, wow, this stuff is real. I went from having infection, basically like pus coming out of my puss. I'm sorry to get graphic, but it was devastating on my self-esteem, and I cleared it in my sleep with holy light. And after that, I didn't want to sleep with those dark men anymore. I don't mean dark skinned men. Those could be good too. Although my guy he's kind of a bronzy redhead, so copper. All the colors are beautiful. But what I mean is the light, whatever body you are in, divine masculine, bring on the light. We need these ladies to get electrified. Woo! Let's bring it. Okay. So 3, she's fighting with her masculine versus receiving him. So this is kind of going along the lines of the last 2. So she is in a battle. She's fighting. So if you had a sibling, especially if you're a woman and you had a brother, but it could be many different variants of that. If you are, instead of going like, wow, let's connect, and instead you're like, okay, how can I one up this person? Oh, he called me back, but last time he took 3 days, so I'm going to take 3 days. Or he didn't clean up the cat litter box, so I'm not going to do it. And there's this like sibling rivalry almost energy, or this battle of the sexes even. I can be more strong, wealthy, attractive. This is not a beauty competition. You're not here to be more beautiful than your beloved. This is not a weight competition who's got a trimmer body. This is not an intellectual IQ test. This is not what a relationship is. We're not living in a scarcity of love. There is enough love when you are with a healthy union, a divine masculine, divine feminine, sacred union. Your beloved, your masculine, is infinitely in awe of your feminine qualities. And you are infinitely in love with their masculine and feminine qualities. They're in love with, you're not, it's not about him versus her, or her versus him, or he, and same sex doesn't matter. It's about, wow, I am embodying my aspects in my own unique divine feminine, divine masculine mirror. And now you have a partner that's mirroring their exquisite union between their feminine and masculine. And instead of fighting and like being at war with each other, like a lot of the world has been, instead we're like, whoa, we've got such an incredible, abundant collection of qualities, of aspects, of love and joy. Like, let's work together. So cooperation is one of my favorite words. If we can take our partner's skill sets and our skill sets and we can combine them, and we have conflicts, and instead of going to war with each other, we can go, wow, like we have such opposing ideas. What if your ideas were to work with my ideas in some ways? And even if we had healthy separation where we can grow and we can like get on each other's nerves in a loving way, just laugh at each other and acknowledge our differences and see the union in the separation. Like, there's so much to grow with. But if we're constantly fighting with our masculine, and so many women will be throwing energy darts at this person because, oh, he's like this and blah, 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 he's not calling me back, or he's acting needy, or da, 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 da. They're venting and victimizing, and what they're doing is pointing that finger, right? One finger pointed at them is 3 fingers pointing back. And so instead of fighting, receive. So one tip is, even if he's a total dirtbag, what is the gift? What is the silver lining? Wow, he said he would call. He didn't call for 3 weeks, and he called me. When he called me, the gift was I realized how much I didn't care whether or not he called me back. And I worked so hard in those 3 weeks on loving myself, and he was like a test, a gift. And so I let him go, knowing that he offered such an initiation for me. Thank you, Steve, for showing up in my life. Or if he's being a dirtbag and he has been manipulating and lying and cheating, like, wow, thank you for helping me get to my coach, my counselor, my guide, so I could look at my early childhood wounds and realize that I come from generations of cheaters and that I'm here to break the cycle. By the way, a lot of the cheating out there, it's epigenetic and needs to be worked with on an intergenerational level, which is what we do with our clients. All right, next 4, daddy issues with men. Who here has a daddy? Raise your hand. who here had a daddy at some point. Okay, so that's everyone. You came from a seed, whether you know your daddy or not. Especially if you don't know your daddy, if you never knew your daddy, there are going to be even better daddy issues to work on. So we all have daddies, we all have daddy issues. What are daddy issues? Father wounds. We're going to be talking about this in a separate video because I get so many questions about father wounds. It's so many breakthroughs. I will work on father wounds with my clients for a couple of sessions and then boom, hey, I met my beloved. This is a great guy. He's so different from my father, or he reminds me of the good qualities of my father and the qualities that we worked on healing. He's really showing up in those areas, and his father was, like the same or the opposite. It's just like so many mirrors. It's bizarre. So heal the daddy issues. The biggest wound for most girls that then evolves into a big problem as women, adults, is that our fathers didn't know how to say, I love you. They didn't know how to safely touch us and nurture us. Their own feminine energy was blocked. And so a lot of times dads can either completely shut off and they are trying to do a favor to their daughters by breaking incest patterns. Okay, my father had creepy energy, or some uncle in my family, and that energy is wanting to come through me. The reptilian brain is really kind of creeping me out, so I'm just going to be frozen and stiff and not touch you and not tell you I love you and not pick you up as a baby. Instead, I'm going to be a good dad and go to work. I'm going to make money. I'm going to go and do. And if I suck at that, then I'm going to drink my ass off, or I'm going to complain and tell you how you suck. But really, I don't feel enough, because what I really needed was being safely touched by my father and held and scooped up as a baby and spoken to and emotionally nourished. All these things that our society pretty much sucked with, because we were in such a survival slavery state for so many thousands of years. So we can't blame anybody for being the way they are. Even dark satanic people, like, they've been traumatized and wounded, and their brains have been manipulated, and they've been tortured, and there's a reason for everything, and everyone deserves compassion for that. As much as drives me crazy, why can't they just fix themselves? But most people have some redeeming qualities, and their fathers have redeeming qualities. And so one of the things you can do with healing father wounds, just a quick tip, is to really focus on the gratitude, the blessings. Like, what did your dad do that made you helped make you become so strong? Or what did you love? Was it his cooking? Like, maybe he would make barbecue, on a special holiday, and really connect to the positive assets. There's a lot of nuances to healing father wounds, and we're still discovering more about epigenetics and ancestral healing down the line. But basically what I've seen in my clients is a trauma keeps going down the line, whether we're aware of it or not. And especially if there's something that the family says, hush, hush, we can't talk about this. There was a rape in our family, or a death in our family, or an adoption in our family. There's this trauma, we don't want to talk about it. If they try and silence it, it gets about 1,000 times louder. And then at some point there will be a family member who's light and bright enough that says, okay, I'm coming here to heal it. So if you're one of those light workers that just feels like you're in a trauma soup or a drama soup or a pain soup around relationships with men, and everything you've always wanted is to have a happy, healthy family or a sacred union, and it's just the hardest thing, you might be suffering from a family trauma and a daddy issue that's been going down the line that you can heal with a skilled counselor, healer. I personally work on the level of spirituality, metaphysics, as well as psychology, because my parents are psychotherapists and I studied some psychology. But really what I love working is doing the energetic psychic readings, looking at the Akashic records, looking at the chakras, using intuitive channeling, because that's what I do in all of my lifetimes. So the psychology, the epigenetics, the technologies, the sciences are incredible, important. It's good to keep up on the research as well. Okay. Oh, let's release our daddy issues. It's all just like, I love you, Dad. I miss my dad so much. Oh my gosh, I had an incredible dad. He passed away about almost 2 years ago, but he was somebody that counseled children, had a really good heart, loved animals, always would only adopt stray animals, and left a heart of gold inside of me. And I found out recently that as a child he was abandoned. Actually, I thought he had two good, stable parents, or a family life that was pretty stable, but it turns out that his father, being in the Jewish mafia, had to escape, and probably escape threats or financial issues, and my dad was left home alone a lot of the time with his mom at work, and just a lot of these wounds get passed on. So I had to work, and still work to this day, on like those feelings of, is my inner child loved enough? Do I have enough time? So I'm so grateful to have had a daughter and be able to give her the life that many, many parents and grandparents in my lineage did not receive. Many generations did not get to receive. So what a privilege to be able to do this deep healing work for our whole line. When we heal ourselves, we heal the world. We heal our lineages of the past and the future. All right, 5. It's too vulnerable and dangerous to be feminine. All right, so this is a pretty serious one. So let's put on our serious faces. Let's talk about sexual trauma, abuse, invasion of the dark masculine into the divine feminine. So there has been a galactic raping that has happened to the earth. So all of Earth's women have felt some type of fear, rape, trauma. And it's in our culture, it's in our media, it's in the mind control based media that we grew up with, and it's in our collective psyche. When I was doing a plant medicine journey years ago, before I conceived my daughter, I had this whole journey down this dark path. I was on a little island in Indonesia where plant medicine at the time was legal, and I all of a sudden felt like I was being followed by this dark energy. And I saw a man going by on a bicycle, and then I saw a woman who was veiled. It's an Islam country, Islam island, and I was just like feeling how women in my lineage would have to veil themselves, and they would, if they went out at night to say do something they needed to survive, get food, or if they got held up somewhere, they might be raped. And if they were raped, it was very traumatic, shameful, and also they wouldn't be able to be married if they were virgins as easily. Or they'd have to lie and have all the shame. And how much emotional abuse and trauma happened in your lineage. You can feel it. It's in us until we heal it. And we have to feel to heal. So a lot of women, they don't want to feel. They don't know why they feel these things. Maybe you weren't ever abused or traumatized, or maybe it was something really small. Like I went to McDonald's on a family vacation. We never went to McDonald's, but it was like happy place, French fries, Happy Meal. And all of a sudden with my Happy Meal, I get like a man's genitals like sitting across from the table, and he's whacking off, and I'm 7 years old, and I'm just like, I want to go now. And my mom's like, what's wrong? And of course she tried to call the police, and I'm pretty traumatized. And then a couple summers later, when we're 11, we go to the beach. Same thing happens to my friend, and she goes through what I went through, and I'm too young to hold space for her, but I'm like, oh my God, like all the little kids in America, like are we all just getting abused by pedophiles? Like what is going on? And it's so sad to think about, even the most protected, like my family and my friends growing up, like our parents tried to shelter us and protect us, and they would censor TV. We still saw all this dark stuff. And now I'm realizing how there are these sadistic cults that are working inside the media and doing this because it's normal for them. It's part of their culture, and they want to control and abuse. That's what I believe. That's the research that I've done, and that's what I've seen in the shamanic world. So whatever you want to believe. But then on the other side, there's all this good stuff. There's all this light. There's all this healing. The ability for the light to heal is so strong. If you want to turn off you can't, like if there's a candle in a dark room, the room is illuminated, but you can't have like a dark candle, right? Like you can't you can't turn off the, oh, what am I trying to say? Like, it's the light always wins. Just a tiny little, teeny little bit of light, and it illuminates the whole sky, right? We even have just like our moon in the sky, and it can just be a reflective surface for the light coming from the sun. In a totally dark, black sky in the middle of the night, you can have like a full moon lit, you can see everything. So we just need mirrors. We just need mirrors to hold the light, and we are the mirror. So if we can be vulnerable, if we can be open to the healthy masculine, so we need to purify the toxic stuff. We need to purify our wombs, clear out the old toxins. We need to feel, we need to work with counselors, work in circles of other light workers, other women, other healers, do the healing work so we're actually emotionally available and stable. Most people are walking around holding traumas if they haven't done the healing work anyways. They're holding in a freeze state or a fight state. They're working compulsively to be successful, have the perfect everything, house, looks, but on the inside, they're dysfunctionally functional. And it's sad because they wonder why they don't have a healthy masculine partnership. Well, oftentimes they make themselves vulnerable only to dark masculine energy because they have held this dark masculine relationship for so long. So we need to purify, clear it. When our retreat guests come to Bali, we do a purification ceremony and we help women marry themselves, falling in love with who they are. And we do a twin flame self-marriage ceremony. And here's my self-marriage ring. This is actually like my third or fourth ring. I love making them, so I have a bunch of them. But I got married to myself here in Bali on 11/11. And what I did is I let go of the old type of guy, the tall, dark, and handsome, but emotionally toxic guy. And I called in a new energy. And all of a sudden I started manifesting really loving guys. And it took me a while to find the right one because I was scared. It was like, someone really loves me. Intimacy, woo, that's really a lot of fire. That's a lot of nice energy. Oh, I feel like kind of, can I handle it? It's okay. It's scary as balls to be loved. It's true, but it's the most powerful thing. And so reversing it's too vulnerable and dangerous to be feminine into it's safe to be vulnerable and feminine. We can really open ourselves up, our yonis, our flowers, our magical powers to someone who's worthy when we feel worthy too. So let's let go of the old kind of relationships that don't serve us. The pandemic of lame men. Just imagine instead of saying COVID-19, it says dark masculine. It's basically the same thing, right? All right, painful experiences, being a woman, being feminine, 6. So growing up in school, a lot of times, at least in my generation, I don't know, the younger generations, there was a lot of sexism. It was like boys versus girls, and girls are gross, or boys are faster and better at things, or they're smarter, or there's this kind of battle of the sexes even going on then. And I remember there were all these weight loss commercials going on as a child, and I would notice like, well, my mom is curvy and she eats the same amount of food as my dad, and my dad was kind of heavy too, but there were so many commercials saying that women should be hot, thin, and pretty. And I would project that since my mom didn't fit that archetype. She was more of the voluptuous, the old paradigm goddess, the old goddess statues, the pear-shaped hourglass lady. And so I had this hatred against fat that by the time I remember talking to my boyfriend when I was 17, I basically had a full-blown eating disorder and was calorie counting and not eating enough and exercising. And my hormones have really suffered this lifetime from being an elite athlete, eating not enough and thinking that was good because the culture said being feminine or being fat or even eating enough and taking enough space as a feminine energy is a sin. Mary Magdalene is not a whore. Ashtar was not a horse. So the Statue of Liberty, Lady Liberty, she actually is the goddess Ishtar, or Columbus, Lady Columbus, or the Colombo, which is the dove, or also known as Isis, Ishtar, Ashtar, Inanna, Kuan Yin, Lakshmi, Aphrodite. So we have the United States symbolized with this goddess who has been called a whore. She's also Mary Magdalene. And we're afraid of owning our inner Magdalene, of seeming like we're too much. And it's confusing. We're supposed to be wearing our fuck me boots and sexy and hot and beautiful, but we're also supposed to be polite and pretty and not too much of a whore. And we're just, what the heck is going on? It's so confusing being a woman. And when you're young and you go out there looking for love, especially a young person, it can be incredibly confusing because you go out there looking beautiful and hot, and then you find somebody, and then it doesn't usually end well. I don't know anybody who it really ended well. Did you get married to your first love? Was it awesome? And we have all these wounds and drama, and it's cray-cray. So it's also important to heal our first time, because our first time sex, our first time relationships, our early relationships, because that was a foundation. And a lot of people just skip through that, and they're living in their lives today forgetting it. Oh, that was so long ago, it doesn't matter. No, those relationships are still eating away at us unless we've healed them. So that's why it's important to work with someone like myself, or someone who can help you to energetically, psychically, psychologically smudge your energy field, your relationship space. You're not trying to find a person, a man, a partner with energy that says, I've been abused, I've been walked on, I'm hurt, I'm crying, I'm 17 years old, and the guy I wanted moved on to Julie and never called me back. 7, next steps to stop him from pulling away. Here we go. So, do things that honor your feminine. Can you wake up in the morning and move your body and do sound healing and connect to nature and massage your boobies and do a nice castor oil pack on your womb with essential oils? Or are you just running to work and just checking down, chugging the Red Bull, chugging the coffee, doing the butter bullet coffee, and, you know, like hustling to work and checking off your million to-do lists? And then you rinse and repeat the next day after you go to the gym. Don't do that. Know that you are enough. This is not the right way to do it. I'm going to fill out all of the boxes. I'm going to check them off, and I'm going to be perfect. I'm going to look hot, fat, and then up the club. And then I'm going to know that I'm enough because I'm going to get his number. He's going to call me. I'm going to get an A+ at school from my boss. My boss is going to be like, girl, you are the smartest one ever. And then I know that I'm enough, I've ascended. No, it doesn't work like that. It's more like, I am divine all the time, even if I want to whine and scream and complain about how I didn't play the best game and I failed and I flailed. I get to write my own tale, and I am light and I am life, and I create this love as I am my own wife. Okay, I'm just channeling some words here to activate. I will be doing some affirmations at the end of this video, so stay tuned. You can do less and be more. Do it. I used to work for $25 a session, an hour-and-a-half session for $25. And I would only get like one session a month. And I was trying to live in California where the rent is not cheap. The mortgages aren't any cheaper. And now I work with clients, and I start at a very high-end tier. I work for no less than $50,000 per package, because I used to think that I needed to work so hard for money, and I used to always suffer and struggle and not get enough sleep and be drained and exhausted and pushing, and my love life suffered because I didn't have energy for my partner. I didn't have energy for my kid. And when I changed the model and I said, you know what? I don't have to save the world one person at a time and help everybody for $25 an hour or even $10,000 a package. I'm going to set my time and my energy, and then I can give back, and I can give to charities, and I can create other sources of income and other businesses and projects and not be restrained anymore. But I had to agree that it was okay to do less and be more. And my ancestors were like, what are you doing? My dead ancestors were like, we slaved in the fields forever. I was like, well, yeah, but did you want to do that? Wouldn't you rather come along with me? Yes. Work on receiving. Hey, yesterday I went to a restaurant with my husband, and we just got a couple of appetizers, and the waiter came over and gave me this red rose. And I was thinking, my first thought was like, but I don't deserve this. I didn't get a full, the full set menu. We're just here stopping by to look at the beautiful view and the infinity pool, and then we're going to go to lunch in a second. And instead of feeling not good enough, I was like, thank you. I like this. And I smelled it, and I received it, and I had my moment. Then I gave it to my daughter when I got home, and she received it. She was like, of course, this is mine, and that was such a great lesson too, a reminder, like no child goes, I'm not good enough. They're just like, gimme. So if we can have that, like, I'm good enough energy, yes, and also give it to others, share it, spread it, but really receive in that feminine energy, because the feminine is receiving, the masculine is giving, and we have both inside of us. Let go of our daddy issues. Don't forget. Work on those issues. I've already given you some tips. Forgive the men who have harmed. They might still be abusers. They might still be dark. I know it's really hard. Jack made friends with this guy through the internet like 8 years ago, and he came to Bali last year, and he was like, oh, I'm really excited through this other coach, a men's coach, and we're messaging each other, and then he was like, gosh, this guy is like ghosting me, and I was kind of bummed, I was really excited, and then we find out that the reason that he's ghosting him is because Jack's energy was just too light. This guy actually ended up being accused of 11 accounts of like assault, manipulation, and abuse by women on Facebook, and people were like, posting about him. So a lot of times these really nice guys in the New Age spiritual community, if they are not calling you back and they seem really light and then they have this other dark side, there is darkness. So just know don't trust a wolf in sheep's clothing, in spiritual hippie boy clothing. Forgive the men who have harmed, forgive them, and then move on. It's like, okay, you play that game, that's not very evolved of you, but that's fine, because I'm off to do bigger things. Know that it is safe to be vulnerable and feminine. Of course, we have to work on our boundaries, and it's not good to run around late at night in the ghetto neighborhoods and assume that it's safe, but create safe containers and work on that inner game of safety. Safety is an inside job, and if we need to have our chakras spinning, especially our root chakra at I am safe. Now, wear less masks and makeup. A lot of women are pushing him away because they're too perfect on the outside and they feel too messed up on the inside, and it's better to show the messiness earlier on. Wear less masks and makeup, be vulnerable. Disclaimer, looks like I've got everything. I've run a 7-figure business, but I actually just went through a really rocky breakup, and I'm working on my emotional stability. It's okay. You super high achieving women too suffer with this. Every woman does it. We are messy on the inside at times, and that's okay. So take off those masks and let people in who can love you the way you are. It's pretty simple. And lastly, release the painful experiences with a qualified mentor, guide, counselor. We can do a lot of this healing work on our own with our journals, but there comes a point where it gets to be too slow. If we really want to hit the mark and we want to maybe have a baby this lifetime, or we're just not getting any younger, and there's a time limit to how many years we want to be struggling in the relationships, because we have our blind spots, because we can convince ourselves that it's in our subconscious mind that it's too painful to look at something, or that we're not good enough. There could be a few things we just can't see, and the guides, the mentors, the counselors, the psychics, the healers can be like, boom, here's your fastest access point to get to this person, but there's a blockage. Let's clear it. Let's work on this father wound, or this past life issue, or this chakra block, or this worth issue. You can heal anything. Amor vincit omnia. Love heals all. Okay, I'm going to do some affirmations today to help you awaken your divine feminine energy. I'm going to channel these. But actually, before I do that, let me close up with that. But before I do that, I want to offer those of you who have stayed with me to this point in the video a complimentary twin flame activation session with myself or with someone on our team, a twin flame alchemist at Aphrodite University. So this powerful one-on-one Zoom call is for you if you are a smart spiritual woman, a go-getting high achiever who has achieved so many great things in her life, but love has disappointed you and you're hurting, or at least hurrying to find a new path because you feel like there's so much more out there for you, that you're settling for less, or maybe you have the perfect fairy tale relationship, but it's not filling you on the inside. And you know there's something burning in your soul that's wanting to come out and express itself, perhaps as a twin flame union, a sacred relationship, conscious partnership, or maybe there's even just some kind of calling in your soul that you want to bring out your goddess of love, your Aphrodite, and unite your divine feminine and divine masculine and marry yourself. Maybe you want it all. I'm here to help you explore that, to break it down into doable action steps, and we'll create a twin flame treasure map, your next step guide to where you're at right now, from where you're at right now to where you want to be. And I'll help you to get crystal clear vision on what it is that you want to create in this next chapter. Maybe this lifetime, or maybe we'll just look at specifically over the next year. Like, what is it that you'd really like to create? And let's clear out the blockages and identify the obstacles so you can have what you want. So this is a complimentary session. I'm only offering it to a limited number of people, so you will want to fill out the application form in its entirety. Click the link in the description box. And whether or not you get the session right away, or we put you on our wait list, or we give you a free gift, it's so worth filling out the form, applying, and you'll get a little activation, twin flame code activation, just by getting this process started. And I look forward to meeting those of you for the twin flame activation session on the other side personally in my Zoom room soon. Okay, so let's go to the affirmations. So close your eyes. Let's help you awaken your divine feminine so you can pull in your divine masculine. I might be dancing while I do this. You can close your eyes and dance, or maybe you can, whatever you want to do. Just do your thing, girl or guy. All right. So breathing into your womb, into your hara, going for it, finding your pleasure. I am the beloved. And you can repeat after me out loud or in your divine mind. I am the beloved. I am a goddess of love. I am beautiful. I am beautiful. I pull in the divine masculine with my pleasure. Ooh, and you could do this arm movement. I pull in my divine masculine with pleasure. I release the dark masculine. I release the dark masculine. Love washes over me. I am the light. The divine masculine shines upon me. The divine masculine shines upon me and I receive it. Woo, I am ready for my divine masculine. I am ready for my divine feminine. I call out the dark shit of the dark masculine. I call it out with love. I'm ready for the real deal. And I'm ready to let go of illusions and lies. I'm ready to lie in the love goddess energy. I'm ready to receive on a bed of love and rose petals. I'm ready to make babies or energetic babies with my beloved. Ready to create new projects with my light masculine. All right, now you give yourself your own affirmations. Keep feeding yourself with affirmations. I'm going to sign off, but make sure that you subscribe to my channel. I'm coming out with videos every day. This is my day 5 of 30-day challenge, and I'm going to be hitting you up with videos very regularly after this. I'm having so much fun, enjoying it. Please leave a comment with your affirmation. Share it with the other ladies and gents on this channel. I love you. Share this channel with your friends if it helped you. Namaste. Namasko. Bye for now, beautiful one.